typical start of day in Darjeeling town, September 4th, 2021. Here, life begins early. Everyone is busy making their way to work. But time seems to stand still in the DHR, as though time is frozen. Looking at the magnificent 100-year-old steam engine takes you back to the 18th century, an outstanding example of an innovative idea and its practical application. An engineering marvel, an example of the influence of an innovative transportation system on social and economic development of a multicultural region, Darjeeling, which was to serve as a model for similar developments in many parts of the world. Hence, the UNESCO World Heritage Committee inscribed DHR as the World Heritage Site on 5th December 1999. The DHR workers have a very difficult job of keeping a 100-year-old engine running, and today, one of the old queens seems to be having a problem. The workers are battle-hardened and experienced enough to spot the issue. Their methods are not glorious, but are tried and tested, as old as the steam engines themselves. The workers are quick enough to spot the problem. A steam valve needs to be replaced, but the valve simply won't come out, and the extremely hot steam oozing out of the valve would severely injure any one of them. So it's only wise to wait and let the 100-year-old boiler lose some of its steam, as we have learned from so many examples before. DHR and Darjeelingese are more alike than different. Easier said than done though. Spotting the problem is one part of the equation. Getting your hands dirty and fixing it is whole another story, just like everything else in Darjeeling. After hours of labor, they finally get it out. But they do not have the replacement for it. They don't make them any longer. So, they go to the Queen herself for rescue, in all its glory, wearing her rusty crown. She may not be running, but she can still help others run. And so much we can learn from Her Majesty. In the year 1878, Franklin Prestige, an agent of the East Bengal Railway, foresaw the utility of rail links between Darjeeling Hills and the plains. His scheme was mainly driven by a hardcore economic consideration, namely the huge difference in the cost of essential commodities between Darjeeling and Siliguri, the need to carry out tea for export, and inability of the existing road system to handle the growing traffic. He submitted a scheme for the construction of a 2-foot gauge railway line from Siliguri to Darjeeling. He pointed out how railway could sustainably reduce the cost of transport between Darjeeling and the plains. Rice, which was sold at 98 a ton at Siliguri, was whooping 238 at Darjeeling. But let's hop back on the time machine and come back to today again, 4th September 2021. The central government wants to privatize DHR. They want to lease it out to private companies for 30 to 60 years, in hopes of making it more profitable. After freeing it from the ownership of the British Crown, it may soon be owned by some other company or a crownless king. Well, leasing out the property for 60 years is 2 generations of human lives, which will mean no more governmental jobs, and the competition moving in from the cities can be fierce, which means even fewer jobs for the Darjeelingese. Ownership by a private player from outside Darjeeling will add to the drainage of the already depleted economic resources of the hills. Leased resources and its exploitation has been a bitter and abusive marriage we have seen in many of our tea gardens, and that sends a chill down our spine at every thought. But the Queen of Hills is having none of it. A small brew of storm is rising inside the DHR Workers' Union, and voices are being heard against such a move. But no one knows what the future holds for all the lives that are dependent on the 100-year-old steam engine. We spoke to the people who've been there and done that. The forgotten heroes who lay on the railway tracks not caring for their lives in protest to a similar move in 1972, when the local government tried to uproot DHR lines and railway assets. In his ripe age of 80, he still says that this time it's not going to be anything different. We will start a revolution if it is necessary to achieve justice. Also, the youth are equally participating for the cause, and one of his songs speaks about the negative impact of privatization. The debate for and against privatization will go on, but the fact of the matter is we need to come up with a holistic plan to not just stop privatization but to save DHR and rebuild its heritage glory. One local resident very quaintly pointed out that DHR has now become a thing for just the tourists. Not much of it is left for the locals. We Darjeelingi and the worldwide DHR lovers need to come together to make it ours. Its beauty lies not in the modern aspect, but its ability to transport us on the wheels of time. Its engine, with just 3 bogies, seems to tie our yesterday, today, and tomorrow together in a beautiful harmony. In the meantime, the workers have successfully replaced the parts, and they have been successful in breathing life to the 100-year-old boiler. Another successful day in the DHR.